Thank you so much for joining, sir.
You're more than welcome, Ji. And it was long due.
It sure was. Sir, I would like to know first of all, you have, mashallah, a long successful political career with ups and downs, and you have seen Pakistan through these years. What was the role of military back then, and how do you see the role of Pakistan military today?
I think this has been very unfortunate with the civilian democratic dispensations in Pakistan, that there were two national level or big parties, and now there is a third one also. But their priorities always have been to engage themselves in non-productive politics most of the times, allegations, counter allegations, and it always seems that the whole country and people of Pakistan are held hostage to those kind of unnecessary, unwarranted, and non-productive debates, and each party trying to overcome the other political party allegation and trying to pretend as if they are the most righteous and the others are the most wrong, whereas that is not the fact.
True.
Everybody, each and every, smaller parties or bigger parties, have made mistakes in the past, and they should come up in open and say that yes, inadvertently we made mistakes. Now this is time to mend fences, to correct ourselves, and to have very clarity of mind, clarity of thought, clarity of approach, that we have got so much of an experience that this unnecessary engaging ourselves in allegation, counter allegation, have taken Pakistan nowhere, and we are just stuck to where we were a couple of decades ago. So this realization, I think the sooner this comes, and the better it will be. Now we have asked that how the role of the military has been.
Yes.
Acha, all the democratic forces would oppose whenever there have been martial laws in Pakistan. But take for example Ayub Khan's martial law. That was the martial law that paved the way for the revival of the 1935 British Colonial Raj Act, where in 1947 Pakistan got the freedom, but the local governments in Pakistan were made slaves.
True.
They were put into a kind of hibernation. They were completely forgotten. There was no participatory democracy in Pakistan, because the democracy only existed either in the center or in the four provinces.
True.
So what I'm trying to say, it has always been the military governments, and unfortunately for a democrat like me, or that they would come and they would allow an ordinary Pakistani to play some role in Pakistan's democratic political process and dispensation. And then when the districts of Pakistan, which are now 144, whenever they have become empowered, whenever they have got a chance, whenever there is a competition at the district and city level, we have seen that Pakistan's economy has flourished. So it has always been, and again unfortunately in the military regimes, that Pakistan has performed well,
Absolutely.
that Pakistan's economy would perform well, and Pakistan the economy has registered a growth rate of 6 to 8%.
True.
In Ayub Khan's time, in Mehboob Ulaq's time, in Zia-ul-Haq's era, and then in Pervez Musharraf's it was 5, 6, 7, 8% was our national annual growth rate. But as soon as so-called pure civilian democratic dispensation will set in, we'll see a sharp decline in Pakistan's economic growth. So I'm not trying to advocate that Pakistan should continue to have military rules. No, I'm not advocating for that. But then I think there is a lesson always for big political parties in particular, and of course the smaller political parties, they just join the bandwagon.
True.
They don't have a choice for themselves, so they either have to join one big political party, and the second, and then the third, and these three all unfortunately have been paying musical chairs, and they have their turns on their own turn. Bari bari sabki cheez ho rahi hai, and people are completely forgotten. They are only remembered, and their only role in Pakistan's political democratic process is to the extent that they come and vote at the best.
Absolutely.
And they don't have much of a choice. The election again is a game of people who are very rich and moneyed.
True.
Ordinary people, middle class, educated, coming from urban areas, cities, and having a good track record of social and welfare work in the community, in the communities. They just simply could not think of contesting
They
elections in
can
Pakistan.
only give the vote,
So
but
it-
they cannot stand and
as
ask
such,
for
yeah,
votes.
yeah.
That's so true.
So it was actually my party, MQM, which for the first time paved the way for an ordinary, middle class, urban and
The
educated
arm of arm, like us all.
आम people, yes,
True.
कि आम लोग आ सकें. And it happened then. Jamaat Islam is another example. लेकिन they have failed to become a mass-based party. They have failed to mobilize masses. MQM at least was able to mobilize masses in all the urban centers of Sindh, Karachi, Hyderabad, Sakkar, Mirpur Khas and Nawabshah. But unfortunately, when MQM also began to make the mistakes of just playing as a B team of one or the other big political party, then our failure also began, and we also had a downslide or a downfall. And this is where we also failed the people. They had great expectations from us. And this is what actually the Pakistan's politics need. And this can only happen if local governments are allowed to exist, not merely as a showpiece or cosmetic object, but as genuine, functional, third tier democracy, which takes decision making close to the doorstep of the people.
Right.
Their basic needs are met at their doorstep, and they became the master of their own destiny.
True.
तो अगर वो अपनी तकदीर के मालिक नहीं बनेंगे, how can they play a role? How can they consider that they exist and they have a role in Pakistan's political process? And if they have a role in political process, of course, then they will have a role in a participatory economy. When the politics is not participatory, democracy is not participatory, how come the people of Pakistan, how can the people of Pakistan play a role in economic process of development? How can they play a role in the social development process? So if they are given a chance through the empowered local governments, self-contained, empowered, autonomous, resourceful, and very effective, only then I think Pakistan can have a bright future. And again I'll say, unfortunately, it has always happened in a military rule.
So you're referring to the Constitution 148, the clause.
Because the big political
148.
parties only believe they have a kind of lust of power, a greed of power, and they want to keep the powers, authority, resources accumulated either in the center or then through the 18th Amendment very cunningly in all the 4 provinces. And then, despite their tall promises that this journey will logically continue to the lowest tiers of democracy, and the local governments will also, instead of going for that, whatever powers were existing in the time of President Musharraf, General Musharraf, which were given to the local government piece of law was what system exists in UK, a Westminster democracy model, in America, a presidential form of democracy model, in China, one party rule, but the local governments are empowered, in monarchy, where kingdom exists like UAE.
Right.
All the 7 federating units of UAE, they all have their own rulers.
True.
The ruler from the center do not intervene in the local governments of Dubai, Fujairah, Al Khaywan, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi. So they all, and that is how we see that the country as a whole make a progress once their cities and their different regions they come on their own and they stand on their feet. And then the sky is the limit. This is no rocket science.
Absolutely.
This has been adapted. So that's why, because of this subject is very close to my heart, my party's heart, and we have come up with a legislation that the Article 140 is very clear, but it always is taken as a vague article. Its interpretation is done differently.
Right.
And what subordinate legislation for the local government has taken place in all the 4 provinces, unfortunately, is in clear violation of the spirit of Article 140A. So that's why we felt that there is a need of elaborating comprehensively what does actually Article 140A mean. So we have come up with a reinterpretation of Article 140A through a proposal of an amendment in the Constitution.
Right.
Which is called an amendment in Article 148,
right,
whereby we have very clearly defined what authority should the local governments have, what are the different tiers of the local government,
right,
when should the elections for the local government take place, and how those elections can be linked with the national and the provincial elections. If the local government's elections do not take place regularly, then why the national and provincial elections are happening regularly? So we have tried to link the 2 elections also, so it becomes mandatory, obligatory and compulsory upon the provincial governments and the federal government to hold the local governments elections also very regularly.
And are you hopeful that it would be passed by any chance? Because the bigger ones, the bigger parties, I don't think would really like that.
Look, it's very interesting. वो कहते हैं ना, जो सफ़र इख्तियार करते हैं वही दरिया को पार करते हैं. And we took the first step 35 years ago through convincing people that provincial autonomy is not enough. It was said before 2010, this was a common belief, that a strong center is a guarantee to strong Pakistan. But 50 years of Pakistan saw a dismemberment of East Pakistan. We could not save it through a very strong center. So that showed that yes, the aspirations of the people of East Pakistan were not properly addressed. So now that and we should have gone for a provincial autonomy immediately.
Right.
Thereafter the dismemberment of Pakistan or fall of Dhaka.
Yeah.
But we again preferred to have a very strong center.
Right.
And in 2008, 9 and 10, then some better sense prevailed and we went for an 18th amendment and a provincial autonomy, but the smaller parties were promised by the big political parties that this journey will continue and Article 140A will be implemented in letter and spirit, and the provincial legislation to that effect will be a reflection of Article 140, but that did not happen.
Right.
So and whatever power President General Musharraf gave to the local governments were also rolled back. So the devolution of power from center to the provinces in 18th amendment in fact was not a devolution of power. It was in fact an accumulation of power from center to the provinces and from the local governments to the provinces.
Right.
And the provinces so became unwieldy, unmanageable. And that's why the provinces are also down the road 15 years, 2010, now 2025. And we are about 2026 is around the corner.
Yeah.
So this is why and how we were doing it single-handedly, one party, and all others were opposing it. But now 35 years down the road, when we have proposed this bill for the last 2 years, PMLN is a partner in this. There is an MOU signed with PMLN, and
now
they are
news.
fully supportive of our this proposed amendment, and they were willing to some extent to include it in the 26th constitutional amendment when that was happening. But for some reason they said they will do it in 27th, and the Prime Minister came up with a very good news for all of us and for 250 million people of Pakistan, that the 144 districts of Pakistan are going to have an autonomy now. So the concept of local autonomy is going to see the light of the day.
And that was which year?
In 27th, a few months back.
No, when did they promise?
They promised a year ago. They signed an MOU, but it did not happen in 26th constitutional amendment last year.
Right.
And this year in 27th constitutional amendment, our delegation met. He shared this good news with us, but for some reason then they backed out from this. I think it was Pakistan People's Party, who is now the only party. Then we were the only party who was advocating for this constitutional amendment.
Right.
Now People's Party, I think, is the only party. ANP, BAP, PNP, other nationalist parties, even the religious other parties which have JUI, they all are almost in full agreement with us for this MQM Pakistan's 140A article constitutional amendment.
Wonderful.
So हमने पहला कदम लिया. 1000 मील का सफर था, 1000 mile journey, but we were very focused, we were very committed, and the country, this shows our vision.
True.
That where the world is today and what the world is today, that all of us almost know. But then, and everybody also knows that how the world is where and what it is today, but nobody, big parties don't want to take the pain of the reforms that are essentially required to take Pakistan to what the world is today and where the world is today. And we have to respond to this question, how?
Yeah.
And that requires reforms. That requires transform. And then you will perform. So it begins with reforms. You transform your structure, administrative, your political whole system, administrative structure and political system. So reform, transform the structure and system, and then sky is the limit. Don't look back.
True that. At the moment, if you look at the political parties, other than the fact that, I am better than you, the usual concept, one particular party is making too much of a hue and cry of being, politically victimized. To be more open, we're talking about PTI. So are they that victimized actually, or are there political parties who have seen more troubles and have become more seasoned over the years?
Look, if supposedly whatever they are saying is true, but have they acted as a political party and come to plead their case with other political parties, convince them?
Have they ever conversed with you people?
They have never come to us.
Right.
They have never come to ANP. They have never... JUI, they only would go and talk to them when JUI, the support was needed in opposing the 26th constitutional amendment or in opposing the 27th constitutional amendment.
यानी अपना काम हो तो गए.
बस उसी वक्त, हाँ.
Okay.
So that shows that their whole struggle and their this acrimony or this antagonism to establishments, whatever role rightfully even they have in Pakistan's apparatus of decision making, which where serious concerns towards our security and defense are concerned, where the overall stability in Pakistan is concerned, where law and order situation is concerned, where extremism, terrorism of all kind, fanaticism. So you have to, any policy making has to take into account these factors. So you need an advice at least from the establishment that what is their say in any policy making.
But here we see them totally, standing in front of them.
No, this is actually, this very clearly shows that they also do a politics to somehow or the other have an access into the power. It is not people's politics, no concern whatsoever, price hike, inflation, unemployment. This has not been talked about even when we were doing a debate on the budget.
Really?
Yes. It was only their leader that he has to be released at all cost. even when we used to face a kind of a similar situation, we had faced the courts and we have left our हमने अपनी consequences we had left to the mercy of the courts at the whims and wishes of the court, and we have contested, and there used to be more than 100 FIRs against me. I was also in incarceration for 5.5 years at 2 times. One in the second term of Muhtarama Benazir Bhutto martyred, and then in President Musharraf's time, I was the only MKM representative who was involved in a NAP case.
Right.
And I faced it very courageously, upfront.
And gracefully.
Though the NAP court gave me a judgment against me, rigorous imprisonment for 14 years, 21 years I was barred from politics, but I did not give up.
Right.
And I contested my case in the Punjab High Court, not Sindh High Court, because I was tried in Atak Fort.
Okay.
And I had been in the dungeon, वो जो काल कोठरी जिसे कहते हैं, अटक किले में, अटक फोर्ट में, where Aurangzeb had kept, Mughal emperor had kept his father Shah Jahan for 7 years. I was there for 3 months. Even the front door was not a iron grill. It was an iron clad, and it was like a grave where I was for 3 months.
Right.
So this is the kind of the hardship I faced. But in 2 years, when I reached to Punjab High Court and Supreme Court at the same time, and I was acquitted honorably by the grace of God. A clean sheet.
Right.
And there were so many other cases also, and they all were either made out in Muhtarama Benazir Bhutto's second term, or then in some other time when this slogans against Pakistan were chanted. There were 60 cases against me, and before that there were 100 cases, and now there is only 1 case left against me. So, and it was all through the courts.
Right.
Yeah.
So why does Imran Khan and the PTI make so much of hue and cry? I mean, if you look at the social media.
But this has not happened for the first time.
Yeah.
It has happened
It's
against
normal?
Sari political. But why did they did not change it in their time?
True that.
There were big political leaders who were behind the bars. Why did not they allow a prima facie scrutiny of the case which are being made on political grounds?
True that.
So if you make cases on political grounds, so then you have to face the music.
Absolutely.
If your opponent is making it, then you would come and would do a policy of vengeance.
True.
And you would make counter cases against your opponents.
True that.
So this has been happening, this cycle has been going on. It is something which is not new. So then you have to, at the same time, you have to divide your attention on different aspects of politics. Okay, one is how to face the courts. The second is, if there is a media trial, how to face that.
Absolutely.
And then then political winning over the hearts of the political parties.
True, which they
And
don't
try
really
to
care about.
rally and try to seek their support. Do that. So I would say that whatever you are facing, this has happened in the past, and the political governments have been doing it, because
True.
they have been doing it. I'm not talking of the martial law regimes purely where military may have done whatever cases were made against political leaders. But ये तो सारी सियासी हुकूमतों के दौरान हुआ है. तो फिर आपको तो कहना चाहिए कि now I am here, but at least I have given an ideology to the people of Pakistan. And I hope that the people will stick to this ideology, my policies, and they will carry the torch. I may be before them, I may not be before them. Why such messages are not coming? And let me tell you one thing very clearly. This acrimony and antagonism of establishment is selective. और वो क्या है कि this is all against General Asim Munir.
Yeah.
कल आसिम मुनीर साहब जब नहीं होंगे तो they would want to become a very regular partner with the establishment in running the country for performing, for delivering, for the progress and growth of the country. They would
फौज
come
के
to-
बगैर होता
they
क्या
would
है? They
come
cannot
to-
even manage floods.
फ्लड्स है,
True.
कोई भी चीज़ है, मतलब
They
एक-
need it
they have
throughout.
not-
We all do.
तो
True.
मतलब है कि you don't just keep on blaming
Yeah.
establishment and you only do it when you are facing something wrong that you did it advertently or inadvertently. Now you have to face this. A time has come on you.
Now
You have
you
to
do it.
gracefully accept it.
True
You
that.
have to say, look, Sulfakar Bhutto, Shaheed, accepted it gracefully.
Absolutely.
He was languishing in jail and he faced the court case. Or jo hua, then a time came that one of the court then gave a judgment that justice was not done.
True.
In that. So एक वक्त आएगा कि इंसाफ मिलेगा. But लेकिन आपको you have to go through all
You have
this.
to be a man.
हाँ, ये 5.5 साल तो मैं भी अंदर था ना. I was there. I faced the music. 3 months in a dungeon in Atak Fort. 3 months. And for first 5 days, I was not even, only for the natural calls I was taken out. There was no sunlight coming in my 6 by 4 feet cell.
Good.
Like a grave.
Right.
The air would come, but I would not see any ventilator. कोई रोशनदान नहीं नजर आता था. No sunlight. And it was difficult to make out what is is it the early morning or late evening or what time. The chirping of the birds would say that Fajr hone wali hai ya Maghrib hone wali hai.
Right.
Only the chirping of the birds. And then, yes, the commandos in the attack fort, when they would do their regular
The
exercise.
exercise, the footsteps, the
After
thumping.
Fajr
Right.
or before the sunset, they would do that. And that would tell me, yes, ye time ho raha hai. Because I was deprived of the watch or mere pa gadi bhi nahi thi.
Right.
So that would mean कि भाई वो तो martial law था ना.
Yeah, and Khan is being given everything from
हाँ,
best
अच्छा
diet
martial
to
law में
come.
चले, if the NAB was under some kind of a control of General Amjad, the then in charge of this NAB thing, Accountability Bureau,
Right.
and Musharraf was the overall in charge. But then I had a chance to go to the Punjab High Court
Right.
and the Supreme Court, and then they did away with my case and they exonerated me. I was acquitted honorably.
Right.
तो हुआ ना, लेकिन 2 साल मैंने फेस किया. 2
Face
years
the-
I had to go.
True, you have to.